Alright, so about 4 days ago, I made a video about my prospects for the 2020 election. Basically, I came to the conclusion that it would be more beneficial, more constructive to the left to prepare to face 4 more years of Trump. And the best way to do that would be organizing along Leninist principles. But at the same time, not voting is something that only lazy people do. You can go out and vote, alright? And if you can't, there are lawyers, there are voters' rights groups that would be more than happy to help you vote. They would do everything in their power. If you're a felon or something, you can't vote. I know in the state of Tennessee that's a big problem. If you were arrested for a non-violent drug offense, you get out of jail, all of a sudden you can't fucking vote. Well, all of a sudden you've disenfranchised pretty much a huge chunk of the black male population, which is disproportionately arrested for drug possession. So I mean, we can go on and on about that all day long, about how voting is important. And for the record, I would love a President Bernie Sanders. I just don't think it's going to happen. So I think it's more constructive to prepare for the worst. And the worst is, of course, 4 more years of Trump. So I got a pretty good response from user DamnItBobby420. So shout out to user DamnItBobby420. Cool dude. He said the hard part for Bernie is the primary. If he makes it through the primary, I think he could obliterate Trump. I also think that while changing America takes a mass line of ordinary people, the ordinary people won't be able to make a difference still unless they have allies in power. Alright, so let's just sort of like focus on it a sentence at a time. I agree, the hard part for Bernie is definitely the primary. If the Democrats would just bend the motherfucking knee and say, alright guys, we've tried this neoliberal fucking Bill Clinton, Obama, Hillary Clinton route. It didn't fucking work out. It didn't capture the working class. We couldn't sell it. Alright, we couldn't sell neoliberalism to the working class. But you know what is being sold to the working class right now? Division, racism, fascism. So, the only proper way to counter that is Marxism, but ignoring that, Bernie is certainly a step in the right direction. So if the Democrats want to fucking win, they will bend the knee to these progressive social democrats and let them take control. They're still capitalists, they'll still sell out. I don't really know what the big hesitation is. The Democrats are just so used to bending over and letting the Republicans fuck them in the ass in the name of bipartisanship and being the better man is just stupid. It's just Washington showmanship, and no one outside of that Washington elite bougie bubble gives a flying fuck about whether or not you were bipartisan. You know what they do give a fuck about? The legislation you pass that literally affects them. They don't care how nice you played ball. Fucking idiots. But anyway, he says, if he makes it through the primary, I think he could obliterate Trump. I agree. I think he most certainly could. I also think that while changing America takes a mass line of ordinary people, the ordinary people won't be able to make a difference still unless they have allies in power. Well, I mean, like, power is a weird term. I mean, like, you mean power as in like political power, elected officials. I don't really think that's true. I don't think that's true at all. You don't have to have some, asshole talking suit at the top in Washington to legitimize your movement, to get some shit done. If enough people rise up, we could just step around them. Alright, we could force them. Alright, we are the overwhelming majority. Alright, to quote all the Occupy guys, we are the 99%. If we really wanted to, if we had the unity in the organization, we could just fucking roll up with the guillotines down Wall Street and just dethrone the bourgeoisie today. We could. But, you know, the power paradigm, the propaganda machine of the capitalists keeps that from happening. You say Bernie Sanders is literally a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. We will never get another chance to elect anyone as far left as Bernie. I don't think that's true either. I think Bernie Sanders is the start of a new generation of Democratic candidates. We've seen Bernie, we've seen AOC, we've already seen the Democratic Party shift leftward thanks to Bernie. All right, am I saying Bernie is not a gift? Am I saying that Bernie is not an amazing opportunity? I'm not saying that, but once in a lifetime, I don't think so. Hopefully, in each election cycle to come, particularly if fucking Trump wins another term, the Democrats will finally just say, alright, Jesus Christ, we need to start fucking winning, or there will be some kind of a takeover. There will be some kind of a splinter, alright? And let me tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, CNN, the mainstream media, they may cover the old Democrats, the establishment Democrats, but new media, the internet, the only thing they will be concerned about is these progressives. All right, that's the thing that gets the people excited. All right, it's not fucking Hillary Clinton making promises to Goldman Sachs executives. They don't get hard for that. The people get hard for Bernie, for free college tuition, for free healthcare. Fucking assholes. It's obvious. Duh. Get in the fucking game, Democrats. So you say, so don't downplay the importance of this election. If we want the stars to align as leftists and shift the dynamic of politics even slightly to the left, then it requires Corbyn and Sanders to get into power. This is also something I don't think... We don't need any one particular person to shift the politics. The people shift the politics. It comes from the bottom up. It doesn't come from the top down, my friend. If the people want to shift the politics to the left, then we will do so. Somebody like Sanders is a product of the times, and the times reflect that the people are ready for politicians like him. His popularity, how do I explain this? If Bernie Sanders was replaced by Ernie Sanders or somebody who's a totally different guy, let's say Cerny Banders. All right, let's say that Bernie Sanders was replaced by a different guy named Cerny Banders. Cerny Banders was a social democrat. Cerny Banders said healthcare for all. Cerny Banders said free college tuition. I think Cerny Banders would be just as popular as Bernie Sanders. And the point I'm trying to make here is that Bernie Sanders is filling a niche, a much desired niche that the people, the voters, want. All right, and if it wasn't Bernie, somebody else would have hopped in there. So, you know, I don't get all this hype about like let's all back one dude, let's all put our eggs in one basket. I certainly understand why people are excited for Bernie, and hell, I'm excited for Bernie. But like I said in the last video, I'm not gonna put all my eggs in the Bernie basket. I'm not gonna wait until Daddy Sanders and Daddy Corbyn get into power before I make my move. We gotta move now, ladies and gentlemen. So he says, you shouldn't be such a fucking negative Nancy. You act like you're bursting our bubbles while simultaneously lying to your listeners about the importance and likelihood of a Bernie presidency. Alright. He says, Bernie was a long shot in 2016 and won almost half the electorate against the juggernaut that was Hillary. But guess what? Guess what happened in 2016, Bobby? Damn it, Bobby. they threw Bernie under the bus. They threw him under the bus. You're already seeing the MSM sort of smear him over, CNN screwing him over, downplaying him. Essentially, they are conditioning us for a Harris 2020 or even a fucking Biden 2020, maybe a Yang 2020, who knows. But the establishment wants anybody but Sanders in the Oval Office. And so I'm a negative Nancy because it's kind of like, I guess you're right, dude. I am a negative Nancy. I got my hopes up in 2016. I thought that the Americans, my fellow countrymen, were better than this, that they wouldn't elect a fucking Cheeto Hitler as president, but I was wrong. Alright, Cheeto Hitler is president. Bernie got thrown under the motherfucking bus. And while we have seen a leftward shift of the Democratic Party, it's a very slight shift, and it's been met with very heavy resistance. I don't know if the Democrats will be able to get their shit together in time to combat Trump in 2020. Alright? I just don't think so. And so instead of placing our hopes in the election, saying we need to really be excited for this and we need to hedge all of our bets on Bernie winning, and I just don't think it's going to happen. I'm pessimistic. I think Trump is going to win, and I think it behooves us as leftists to focus more on what we do with 4 more years of Trump than what we do just in case by some miracle Bernie Sanders wins. And I know that he won half the electorate against Hillary, but the Democrats haven't learned their lesson yet. They're stupid. They're bought out. They're capitalists. They're never going to learn a lesson, I don't think. I think the Democratic Party is just going to continue to wither away into obscurity and lose election after election after election. Unfortunately, Trump has managed to capture this sort of populist sentiment a lot better than the Democrats have. Bernie's literally the only one who is appealing to like working class concerns. The rest are sort of kind of capitulating to them, throwing them a crumb every now and then, but it's nowhere near enough. He says the small amount of mass organization that currently exists largely because of Bernie Sanders in the first place. I don't believe that's true. It's kind of a what came first, the chicken or the egg kind of thing. I don't think Bernie Sanders is spurring on these mass organizations. I think these mass movements like Antifa and Occupy and Black Lives Matter are spurred on because of the social conditions that create them. Right? The same reason why somebody like Bernie Sanders has risen to prominence in the first place is the same reason why we have these sorts of left-wing organizations that are popping up. Bernie is not the cause, he is an effect. He is an effect of the conditions of the society. Hashtag we live in a society. He says, I agree that preparing for Trump 2020 is important as well, but to say that we should divert our resources and attention away from Sanders in order to prepare for Trump 2020 is grossly irresponsible. I didn't say let's divert our resources away. I didn't say don't vote. There's nowhere in the video where I said like don't vote. I encourage everybody to go out and vote. Vote for Bernie, and do if you want to divert your energy to helping Bernie, by all means do it. I plan on making many videos diverting my resources towards endorsing I can't talk today, endorsing Bernie Sanders. All right? And to just make the line clear, I endorse Bernie Sanders. If I had to vote for one guy, and I am going to vote, and I encourage all of my subscribers and viewers to vote, unless you're a chud, go vote for Bernie Sanders. Alright? It would be my dream if Bernie could win. Am I pessimistic about it? Yes. But do I want it to happen? Yes. Alright? As for the irresponsibility, my dude, I don't know what's more irresponsible. Let's say that, like, you had a $100 budget and you put every single one of those dollars into investing into the Bernie campaign instead of spreading it to, like, Latino rights groups and Black Lives Matter, maybe keeping some bail money to bail out your dudes. I don't know what bail money is that cheap, but, you know, whatever. If they get arrested by the pigs in a protest or something like that, who knows? Alright, who knows? It's better to sort of have many plans of action instead of just one plan of action. If you want to go all in for Bernie, I would say that's not as constructive as going, like, halfway in for Bernie and at the same time trying to organize some kind of activist movement on the ground. Like, yeah, do we need representation in Washington? Yeah, obviously. But I think the more important and more immediate thing should be preparing to combat ICE, preparing to combat the system. Trumpism will persist after Trump's term. It will take time to reverse all the bullshit he's done. And so, you know, to oppose that, if nothing else, and to be strengthened and to be organized, that could only serve to help Bernie should he win the election. All right? If the left is organized and united under sound ideology and praxis, well then Bernie will have, if anything, a vanguard to sort of protect him. All right? A vanguard voting bloc to protect him. So, yeah. And, I mean, you even kind of go on to say, you know, it's not even really gambling. You don't think going all in on Bernie necessarily hinders us from simultaneously preparing another 4 years of Trump. The two aren't mutually exclusive in terms of what you can work on as a leftist. Okay. Well, I mean, the phrase going all in, I don't want to be a fucking grammar Nazi over here, but it's like the phrase going all in on Bernie kind of implies that you're putting all of your resources into helping Bernie. And if you were doing that, it would be hindering you from preparing for another 4 years of Trump. That they're not mutually exclusive. You can work on both of them, but you can't put all of your energy into one and then claim you're working on both. That you can't. I don't know how that works, dude, unless you've just got like some massive reserves of like 5-hour energy, and you're just like chugging that shit like a motherfucker, and you're able to like just be an activist 24/7. I know I couldn't do it, but yeah. All that said, if you want to campaign for Bernie, my dude, you got my blessing. Best of luck to you. Best of luck to Bernie. That's all I can say. I wish him the best. Godspeed. I hope he fucking makes it. I pray to Marx that we don't have to endure another 4 years of that fucking orange fascist man clown as president. It sickens me. I hope we don't. I hope we don't. But yeah, I am pessimistic. I am a negative Nancy. All right, Dankey's a negative Nancy. You can take that away, if nothing else. I'm a pessimist. All right, I'm jaded. All right, that's all I can say. I'm fucking jaded. I'm tired of the capitalist system. I've been kicked around the curb, and I know what the bullshit smells like, ladies and gents. And I can smell it wafting through the air.